Hello guys, this is Paula back. So I finished the Valentine books and they're in the Etsy shop, and I think there's a few left, so you're good if you're interested in one. Okay, so I was looking at my Alice in Wonderland paper and my Alice in Wonderland book. I haven't picked out any kind of cardstock. I've just am looking at, here's the book. It's in really good condition, which a lot of them are. You know, I think parents would buy them because they were, you know, not expensive. So I don't have these papers in any kind of order, but these are the pages. Now, I did print them crooked, so I'll have to cut them out. But, you know, they have some of the text from the book. There's Alice. Now, the papers are kind of this is kind of a, oh gosh, it's hard to describe. It's kind of a tan with the inking on top. It's got Alice and the cat. And listen, I don't know these characters. I never was an Alice fan, but I found this cute little book and I thought, well, and then here's the caterpillar. I do know that with Alice. He's sitting on the mushroom. So, this one's kind of a greenish tone. Of course, here's the cat. I don't even know what his name is. Let me see if it says on here. Nope. But he's got a creepy look on his face. I think that's what always bugged me about Alice, is it always seemed creepy to me, but it was so loved by so many people. And my kids liked it too. So, anyway, these are like sketches on a different color background. So there's like 3 or 4 different color backgrounds. Oh, that one we've already seen. Here's the cards. And from the Mad Queen, I guess, the Queen of Hearts. Okay, so these look like spades to me. You guys know the story better than I do. The reason I brought this paper out right now was to show you, I'm going to show you this page. Okay, so I still feel like, I keep telling my husband I'll try it without my lamp, but I'm always afraid it's going to be too dark. So this is the rabbit, and this is the, I guess, I don't know who that is. Let me look back, because I remember seeing who it was. Is that the Mad Hatter? Yeah, it's the Mad Hatter. So, the reason I'm asking you about these characters is because the book, you know, I got this kit, and this isn't all of the kit, to do the Alice book. But then I went to thinking about it today and thought, man, that is definitely bright colors. And it is throughout the whole book. So I'm thinking, you know, these colors are too bright for this. So how can I make them look better? So I got out my Prismacolors and colored them with my color pencils. I haven't used them in a while and it was fun. So I really need your opinion. So if you don't normally comment, if you could comment and tell me if you like the characters in color or if you like them plain to go with this book. So let me put the color one up here and you can compare the two. What do you think would look? Of course, the light is, to me, is not just right. It's hard to tell. I'm going to turn this one on. Oh, there's the glare. You can't see. To me, it's On my phone, it's so dark, it's hard for me to tell if you're able to see, but it always seems like the video is fine. But anyway, so you can look at this paper and see this brightness behind it, and it kind of tells you. There you go. So give me your opinion. And right now, I'm going toward doing my color pencils, which will take longer, but well, it just looks like a fun process, so it's okay. So this is the next repurposed book I'm going to do, and it might take a little bit to get this all together, but we can do that together. And I've still got to cut it all out and so forth. So that's a little golden book. And so today, or tonight, whichever you want to call it, my table looks crooked to me, I'm going to just do something for fun. Now, I thought we would I've started it because I didn't know what I was doing when I started. So I cut out, you might want to write this down, I cut out 5 hinges that were 2 inches and then folded evenly down the middle. Okay, so there's 5 of those. And we have 6 pages of chipboard. And it doesn't have to be a super heavy chipboard. Mine's kind of medium. But the size that I cut the book, the chipboard, was 5 by 7. So this is a 5 by 7. Let me make sure you can see. I'm paranoid that you can't. Okay. And then I use double-sided tape. I'm going to tell you this stuff ahead of time so you know. On the very edges. I also used a Sharpie along the sides, but you can ink it, and you can use any color Sharpie you want. Mine is a deep purple. You can kind of see it there. And I put the 1/2 inch double-sided tape. You can use any size you have, because I'm going to put the glue in the middle. Now, what I did was, I also inked all the papers that's going to go on this. Now, how it's going to work is, I am using, let me see if I have the book still out, the paper pad. I'm using Jane Davenport's last book that came out, paper pad. And so you can see which one it is here. I don't see a name on here. It just says Jane Davenport. I guess she didn't name the collection. Let me see if it's on the back. It's made by American Craft. She didn't put a name on here. But I know she has one other one. And I think I've already used it. But this is the most recent. And it's very, very bright. Well, for instance, that tells you a lot right there. I was going to use that one and tore them out and got them ready, and then realized, I can't use that right now. I want to see what all I have to choose from. And then I made a plan. So, I'm going to first show you I'm going to show you the pages. Let's do that first. Okay. So this is going to be the front. Now this, I am going to make this into a journal. It looks like it's not, but this is one of the images. I'm going to stand up so I can be sure you can see these. This is one of the images this is the image I put on front of the book. Okay. And then you flip it over and just pretend that it's bound right here. And this is how it will look. I did several of these because they are time consuming. I'm not going to lie to you. You want to make sure the picture and the chipboard are the same size before you glue them on. So you might have to do a little bit of trimming here and there. And you have to remember that double-sided adhesive is a little bit tricky. So once it grabs, it grabs. So you have to really line your paper up and be ready to drop it down. So, but you can just use glue if you'd like. Okay, now this is the second page. It has a little girl right here. I'm going to hold it up and let you see. Isn't she cute? Look at all these colors. Jane Davenport, you know, she doesn't have, I don't know how to describe her, but she just paints very freely. And if one leg's bigger than the other, that's okay. That's how she felt at the moment. But I do like her work, especially for mixed media. And I've had this book, and I just don't really have time to do mixed media, it seems like. So this is the next page with this really big top hat of sorts. And then I just tried to kind of match the pages up. None of them are meant to go together. And then here is this page. It says, I'm learning to fly. And, of course, a lot of it's cut off, but I just picked the spot that I thought would be good. Now, you're thinking, how is she going to make that into a journal? I don't know yet. But I probably will cover up parts or add pockets or something. I don't know. I may not be able to do what I'm trying to achieve. But I really love the images, and I kind of feel like it's the kind of journal where you just journal in spaces. Do you know what I'm saying? Anywhere you can journal on it. Now, this one you would want to use a white pen because it's black right there. But you can use different color uniball pens like gold, silver, white, black, blue, red. Those are the ones that come to my mind. So I'm thinking journal wherever you feel like journaling. So if I don't come up with another thing or another way, I might even add a couple more pages of chipboard and kind of put them at the end or mix them in. I haven't decided. So there's the front cover. There's the second page and third page. Here's the fourth and fifth. And there's the sixth. Now, I'm going to show you on the 7th how I put these together. But first, let me jump past that and show you the other pages. Okay, here is one. Is that not cool? And then the purple. I'm keeping them in order. I don't want to show them to you. Whoa, I said I was keeping them in order. I think this one's cool, even though it cut, you know, the perforated area was right across her forehead, but that's okay. I love the paper that I picked to go with it, too. And so let's go to the last page. I just did kind of a multi-print. I might go back and swap this out for some of this brighter. Or I might use this on some chipboard and add some journaling into that area. It's all going to be a surprise. So this is the one that I chose to go with this page. I just felt like the colors flowed nicely together. Okay, now you want to ink. Once you get your pages cut down to the size of your chipboard, and you know everything's fitting, you want to ink this before you glue it down, and make sure you get all the white edges, okay, around the side. And then you will pull, make sure you have this one. If this was on the back of this chipboard, you'd want to make sure I have everything ready to go down in the upright position, okay? Because that would be kind of a disaster. So I'm taking the tape off before I add the Fabri-Tac on here, because I just find it's easier, and that way the glue doesn't have too much time to dry. So let me get over here where you guys can see. Sometimes this stuff's hard to grab hold of. I use a scoring knife to, or scoring blade to press this down once it's down, so it makes it a little bit tougher to get up. My fingernails just don't want to grab it for some reason. Usually I don't have any trouble. Finally, there we go. All right, now I'm just going to take my glue, and every time I do this I cross my fingers because I'm just like, I hope I can get this done without flopping. So if I flop, I'm sorry. We'll have to cut another one out. And I'm not putting tons, I'm just spreading it out pretty thin because the adhesive tape will really help. So it's in the upright position. So is this paper. So I turn my chipboard this way. Now this is how I do it. You do it however it's the easiest for you. But I can see better this way. Is I'm going to line it up as best I can. Of course, I need a little bit more light to do that. And then I'll take it back off screen. Here, let me do that. Still want to blind you guys. Okay. This is when I feel like I'm going the right way. Sometimes you have to trim a second time, just so you know. I don't know that I've done one perfect yet. One might be slightly off. I also took the the purple that I did around here, the marker, and I kind of laid it on the front, just around the edges too, on both sides. You can see here how I did that. Hopefully you can see. Now you want to really press down your double-sided tape, and then your glue, you want to rub it on well because it's chipboard, not paper. So there we go. Now you can see that we have, I believe it's page 6. Nope, page 7. This is page 7. Now, we want to flip it over and keep it in the upright position. Oops, and now this is how you can tell that you're off a little bit because I'm having to trim it. Now you have to really have, I would recommend you have long blade scissors to do this because you get longer strides with it. But if you do have to trim that like I just did, you got to go back and ink it also because it will leave that white edge if you don't. So all I did with the chipboard was I cut it out 8 by 7. I mean 7 by, let me start over. On the chipboard, I cut 5 by 7, just like a 5 by 7 photo. You can choose whatever size you want to do your book. And, you know, to each their own. It's kind of how I look at it. Like, one person might want it to be 4 by 4 and, you know, on and on. Or 6 by 6. If you have a paper pad for 6 by 6, you don't have to do any paper cutting other than your chipboard and your hinges. Now, these hinges, whenever we put the hinges on, they're going to go into the book quite a bit. So I have decided that I might shorten them because I don't want them to cover any of my faces. This is the next page. Now, we're going to flip this over, keep it in the upright position. And if you look at it, it looks perfect. But really, if I had been smart, I would have cut it all 1/4 inch smaller. But then you would have chipboard showing. So you would have to lay paper on there. And so I just decided, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it like this. And I just noticed this needs to be trimmed a little bit more on the bottom. I've been a tiny bit under the weather this week. Not sick, but I I have something going on with my hips, and I know one of them, I don't want to say dislocated, but it's real similar to that. Can naturally do it as you get older, and it can do it when you're young. As a matter of fact, I started physical therapy last week, and so let me tell you, it has really fired everything up. And so if you don't see me one day, you know I'm fired up. Okay, so let's make sure this fits like we want it to, all the way around. What I do is I square it up on the side that I'm going to hinge, and then I flip it over, holding everything in place so I can see if it's too big anywhere. Now, this is the weird thing. This is the first one that hasn't been, that's why I kind of keep patting it. It's the first one I haven't had to trim. What's up with that? So we're just going to move on to inking. We'll get this one inked, and then we'll glue this one down as well. I hope you guys have been having a good few days where I've kind of been in and out. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try to not let it get me down. Physical therapy, she told me that she thought that I would recover from this, and so I may cancel my appointment for the surgeon so that I don't have to deal. I don't want surgery, especially on my hips. And my primary care sent me to the surgeon, I guess, to get an opinion. I don't know, because I never told him I wanted it fixed. But the therapy, I think the day I had my first therapy, for the first hour or two, you know, it really felt much better. So the pain is weird. It's not where your typical hip pain is. Well, it is, but you know, usually people hurt on the outside of their thigh, and mine's not been like that. So, and mine's even gone up, you know, above my waistline. So it's crazy. I've just had a great week. I went back to the eye doctor, and my vision was up to 2 lines. So my vision improved, which was good, because I was a little nervous, because out of the blue I start having blurry eyes, you know, and I'm like, of course, what's the first thing I think of as a crafter? You know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, this isn't cool. I don't want anything to affect me making my books, you know, because I love it so much. And my videos, and what would I do? Listen, it's going to take a whole lot more than that to get me down. Keep me from doing my videos would be hard. I've really enjoyed doing them. It keeps me busy. It keeps me, the way my husband has these lights set up, it's harder for me to see. I'm going to have to tell him that, and I hate to disappoint him because he works so hard on them. So I have a little spot right here, so I'm just going to add some more tape along this. And I'm getting as close as I can, but remember, you don't want to get so close that you can't get your paper on there with a little tiny edge, because, you know, you never know how it could end up looking. So let me get this on here. You don't want tape sticking out, I guess is what I'm saying. That's why I'm trimming a little bit as I go. I tried at first to trim on the trimmer as I went. Oh, I thought that was hanging over, but it's not. Crazy woman. Anyway, so the closer the better, but not too close. Okay. This is how, if I overlap, I'll overlap these with a little piece. I'll just lift one up and put one underneath. until I'm ready to pull them off. And then we're going to pull these off, and after that we're going to glue down another page. Now I'm not going to bore you and make you watch me do every single one of these, but I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and let you know what the plan is. I have not gone into cardstock and made any plan for Alice, and I haven't tore the book apart yet, but I am going to, I really think that I just tore the tape and all up on this one. Let me just get it up. There we go. Okay, now this part is stuck up, so I'm just going to put some glue under it. I'm going to glue the glue down. Does that make sense? I'm going to glue the glue down. I'm wanting to do little projects like this every now and then, because you know we need a break from doing a normal everyday book. At least I like to take little breaks in between and do something different. My glue, which is not very old, I just opened it last night, is already acting crazy. Okay, so the thing you want to do here, let me put some glue here too. The thing you want to do here is line up your paper, okay? And I'm going to turn it this way like I did last time because it's easier for me. And it gives me a broader look. You know, I know that the majority will be straight if I can get this down straight. And you don't really know until you drop it how straight it's going to be. It's just trial and error. See, like, I think this page would be great for journaling. You could journal on every line, you know, and even down on her neck if you wanted to, and her hair. But it just, you know, depends on what you like. But I do think I'm going to add some pages to it. I'm not sure yet. It might end up being my favorite ledger paper. We got a little bit of hangover here because, you know, it did not land perfect, but it landed where everything was covered up. So that's good. You're really better off to trim on the opposite side of, like from the back. Trim off from the back because it just seems to go straighter. Don't try to get down under it, but just try to trim. Okay, I just don't want my paper to look wavy. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. Still a tiny bit down here. I don't like the way that one little edge looks. Let me see if I can straighten it out. I don't work with making chipboard books that often. I did when I did, and this is still in my Etsy store, when I did the Shades collection from Tracie Fox's Love Junk Journal. It was the one with the birds and the floral that was so beautiful, and the gray tones. And I did it in a chipboard. It had a chipboard cover, and then I did tags, tag pockets and tags, and it is so beautiful. But it's still there if anybody wants to go look at it. I may have to break it out and use it eventually if no one's interested in it. But I know there's a lot of new subscribers. Just want to let you know that that's over there if you hadn't had a chance to go take a look. And of course, all the Valentine books. Listen, I told my husband, the Valentine books are going to haunt me from now on. I just thought they would never be finished. Okay, so here we go. And so pretty much that's the rest of how the project's going to go. And so we've got our cover. And, you know, there's ways to put, we could put some perfect pearls, or we could put Wink of Stella, or we can actually use the little glitter bottles. What are those called? You know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't do anything puffy, but like just to smooth on some glitter, that would be the way to do it. And then, yeah, and see, this has a whole page of journaling right here, and all around her. This one has good journaling. And this one's not bad for journaling. There's a lot of areas that you can journal on. And this one has lines as well. It's a little busier, but look around her. There's a lot of journaling spots. And so far, whoops, what did I do? That's in the wrong place. I had it upside down. Scared me for a minute. And then, of course, this has journaling space. You might have to use black, you know. And then, when I was doing it, I wasn't even thinking journaling. I just thought, I want to do something different. Look how cool. This would be really cool with some journaling. You could even journal on her shirt. And then you've got this whole page, but this big white spot. So I'm not too worried about the journaling. But I still may add, you know, 1 or 2 more chipboards on there. And then I think I'm going to change this one out. I may use it for a mat for some of the journaling page. And I may do it like in squares, you know. I may do it in a design fashion, like maybe a heart, and then maybe a rectangle or bookmark size. It's going to depend. I really love this, and so I'm thinking we got to use this somewhere. So I'm going to put it on the back cover for sure, and then I may throw another one in between the journaling pages or something. But I've seen someone do mixed media with this paper, and they actually have the tissue for this also. And it was, she put it all down on her canvas, or her mixed media book, and then she put it down, the tissue, she decoupaged it onto her book, and then she painted over it, the whole thing, once it dried, with Dylusions black. And then she laid a stencil over the black. And while it was still wet, she went in with I think it was a wet rag. And it's called, her site is Let's Get Inky. So you could go over there and look. But she does a lot of mixed media. She does scrapbooking and project life and journaling. So, and she's made a few junk journals, but yeah. Alright guys, well, I know this is a shorter than normal video, but I don't want to bore you to death. And so before I forget, I'm going to move this to the side, and I'm going to show you how these work. Although, I think I'm going to trim them down to about half this size. And just see. You can also go back in and cover the hinges with a print that you want to use. But see, I don't want it to be up here over her face. You know. Because what would happen, well, actually, there won't be anything on her face because it will hinge on the back here. But see how close it is to that base? I just don't know. I might just cut off 1/4 of this. So it might end up being 3/4. But every 1/4 adds up. So you kind of got to look ahead when you're putting your papers. I see then this one will go here. And then this one will be adhered to this side. And then you bring in your next hinge, which, see, like with this picture, I really don't want to cover up any more than necessary. So this would be adhered on here, and then you have this flap that you add your next piece onto, and so on and so forth. If you have more than 6 pages, you'll need more than 5 hinges. But I am going to make my hinges smaller. I have already decided. That's like I said, this is just a trial for me. I mean, I hope it turns out great and all that. But I just wanted to do something different for you guys. And we'll see where it takes us. Now, you could even add, for instance, if you wanted to, let's say, take this page. You could collage on here some. So if you wanted to be able to have more writing space, you can use some gesso and write in that spot. That's the fun thing about the mixed media stuff, you know. If you feel like, you know, you want to use a white pen here, that's great. I personally wouldn't do anything but maybe a quote or a title. Jane Davenport had a, let me see if I can find it right here in my stack of papers. She had a quote or something on here. I don't even remember. Isn't that terrible? It's like it's been months ago that I read it. Here it is. Time for your art. And that was over here on this side. Somehow right in there. So it was down on this side of the page. But you could title it the same thing in white and do it in a smaller font. And instead of doing art, make time for your journaling or make time to journal. And because sometimes I think we let, it's like reading your Bible or anything that you know you want to do every day, but you can't seem to find time. You just got to make time. So that's something like that's going to go on the front of mine. And I'm just going to freehand it. So it looks more, I don't know, more like, you know, my writing. And it's going to look, of course, I'm going to try to make it fat like this in places, because I do this in my Bible, where you make your font heavier in one place than in the other. So we'll see. Or I might just do cursive. We'll see. However it comes to my brain that day. Alright guys, I'm going to let you go. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're really growing, and I appreciate all of you jumping in and subscribing. And I have a lot of things in my head I want us to do, and really, I don't know from one week to the next. I don't plan ahead. I just kind of get up that day or the day before and say, I want to show them this, and that's how it ends up. And so I thought this project would be fun and different. When we're all complete, I forgot to tell you this, after we hinge them all together, and then we'll take some fabric and we'll put some glue on the back here and a little piece of chipboard. It depends on how wide it gets. Sorry, that's my glass mat making noise. See, I cut one out about 1 1/4 inches just so I could see. But then we'll probably glue that down flush on here so that they have a good amount of glue holding them together, not where it seeps down into your book. And then we'll take the fabric and just put it on here as close as we can. or as wide as you want, and put them together. I've never done a book like this. I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to find out. I don't know if I should leave a little bit of space, and I might. I don't know. We'll have to see. Because I don't think we would, because we're hinging it. See, I'm just talking this out with you because, like I said, there's not a big plan. But there, you know, we can hinge it out. So, yeah. So there you go. We'll see you next time, which will probably be tomorrow sometime. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.